Hello and welcome back to another video. My name is Rachel. Thank you so much for being here. Today I am going to be setting up a little baby bookshelf. I am so excited. This is from IKEA. It's just a Billy bookshelf. I'm starting simple and easy. I was a huge reader as a kid. I kind of fell out with just like school related reading. Kind of lost interest. Obviously I enjoyed some of the books that I read in school, but I wasn't like in love. And same with college, didn't read a whole lot, but I just missed it, but I just never knew where to start or where to find books. So everybody I feel like has found the ACOTAR series in the last year or two, but I found it actually, not to feel like I did it first, but no, I really found it in like 2017, 2018. Like Court of Frost and Starlight was not even out yet, like when I started them. So I started with ACOMAF first, literally blew through it, read it in like 3 days. I kid you not. And had to wait a whole long time for Nesta's book, A Court of Silver Flames, to come out. So I kind of, that got me back into reading, that jump started me back into reading. I kind of felt like this whole world opened where I was like, oh, there's books like this. This is not the only one. That I feel like ever since those books, like more have come out. And so from the ACOMAF series, I read the entirety of Throne of Glass, which thankfully, like I felt like I got up to, I think Tower of Dawn or Empire of Storms before Kingdom of Ash was coming out. So I kind of was able to have a lot of books in both the series, but like have the anticipation of the final book coming out. So that being said, I have not started Crescent City. I have tried to read the first book and I just like there's music in my head. I don't entirely know what's happening. I don't know how I feel about it. I want to keep reading it because of everything that's happening and how there's apparently crossovers. I've seen the art, I've seen some of the stuff, so I really want to push through, but it's on my TBR, which we will get into also later. I would say what really helped me get back into reading was finding Goodreads, and that was around 2022. It was just easier way to track my own reading, but also find books by seeing kind of what my friends were reading or just recommended, and then being able to read reviews. So it was kind of an easier way to go in to a book and not be overwhelmed because I had an idea of what it was about, the basic premise, and that was what felt so overwhelming about going bookstore shopping and like looking at books and going to the library. I definitely dabbled with Colleen Hoover. She's a gateway and we love that about her, but I have since moved from her. No hate to her. But and then I found Emily Henry, and then, it kind of went from there. So in the last, I guess, like 2 years, 2024, I've been reading like crazy. And I feel like I have to preface this because so many of the booktubers and bookstagrammers like have this ornate, crazy packed library, and mine is small. Mine's a baby. And that's okay. I have quite the stack of books that I have not yet read, so that is going to be a kind of side portion of my TBR cart. I did get a Kindle last year, so that was a huge game changer. I have read a lot of books on my Kindle to kind of save space, and I just don't like have the money to buy all of these books. I just don't. And I recently have found Pango books. I've recently have found a like used resale bookstore by me, which is great. I wish I knew about that earlier. So yeah, and then I've been utilizing the public library, which is amazing. So all of this in a roundabout way to say is that the books that I'm putting on this shelf, because it's small, are like my tried and true, I want to keep this book, I loved reading this book. This is like my happy shelf. This is like my shelf, and I'm sure I will still have some room to grow and I will eventually get a bigger bookshelf, but this is just where I'm at right now. I did have a phase where I removed the covers off my books because I did the whole color coordinated thing, which worked for a time, but I got tired of it. And now I have all these books that don't have the pretty covers. And when I'm putting them in my bookshelf, I really want them to have the cover. So there's a lot of books that I've read that I've kept just so I could have a little color scheme or a stack. And I'm like, I didn't love that book, or like, I don't think I'd ever read it again. So I'm going to be giving a good bit away, which I'm excited about. I want to try to find a little local neighborhood library, or I'll just give it to Goodwill, or I'll try to resell them. So I got options. If you love reading, if you love being in the book community, and you see just like a reading room, that's fantastic. I love that. Would love to be on that level, but it's okay just to not be there right now, and it's okay to like not spend so much money on books. Like there's public library, there are resale options, borrow from a friend. I mean, Kindle. There's a lot of other options for you, so please do not succumb to pressure to getting certain covers. And please, from my video, don't see anything that as pressured to do that yourself. Just an important disclaimer before I start. I'm so excited. Let's start decorating my little bookshelf. Between my sister and I, we have a full collection of all of these books, but I only have my favorite Sarah J. Maas's that I'm stacking. Again, I don't want to have unnecessary books, like just to show that I have the series. Down the line, if I have the cash to blow, maybe I'll get the full stack. But right now, I'm just sticking with the ones in the series that I really loved and want on my bookshelf because I do reread them like at least once or twice a year. And that is A Court of Mist and Fury, A Court of Silver Flames, and then Crown of Midnight, Empire of Storms, and Kingdom of Ash. Those were like my tops. Ironically, the last in the series. Just when things are getting good, you know? But just to explain, I just feel like some booktubers will be like, what is that? And I'm like, it's my favorites. It's all I need. Here because this is my romance shelf, so it'll go fantasy, romance, and then mystery, thriller, miscellaneous on the bottom. Do I love this right here? No, but I think it works as a TBR shelf for now. Plus it's something I already had. I don't have to go buy something else. I can just reuse this and tuck into the corner. I do think it's fine. I think it'll grow on me too, like once I stack it up with books. But I will walk you through my TBR. It's just kind of hefty. Okay, for those of you who have watched previous vlogs, you know that my books were all stacked kind of up there in an artsy way, which I obviously have now dispersed. So over here, literally, those are my two TBR stacks. There's so many. Those are like nonfiction books and a mix of just books that McLean and I have both read. This is literally my box that I'm just going to be giving away because I gave away all the covers. There's like 8 books in there. Sad. And then these are the small pile of the ones that I'm going to try to sell maybe at a resale bookstore. Like I said, for this library, I really just want to keep the ones that I love and then keep building from there. Now I kind of know more of the genres that I like to read. A lot of these books too, like while I read them, literary fiction or they were historical fiction, and they weren't bad in any way, but I just felt like they weren't like an amazing book where I was like, I have to keep this anyway. So plus, if someone else out there can get it for a way discounted price and read a book, then I love that. Just made some iced coffee, and now we're gonna get back to it. I'm gonna bring, I told McLean this would all be gone when he got home today. So I am going to move my TBR books into the room and then kind of clean up the extra books. most of them are fantasy. So there's no real rhyme or reason, although I kept my two little romances. I kept down there. I know I have another one. And but yeah, mainly a lot of fantasy, and then there's some literary fiction back here. The Great Alone, the ones I showed are kind of some literary fiction ones. But yeah, very excited about literally all of these. I just finished the Prison Healer trilogy, which I got through my local library, which is great. I don't think I loved those books enough to get the full set, to at least have them on my shelf or spend money on them, even though I'm very glad that I read them and they really enjoyed the story. I'm currently reading Curse for True Love. I think that's the first one. I get them all confused because they kind of all sound the same. Or is that the third one? Once Upon a Broken Heart. That's the first one. I feel this pressure to like read what is popular while it's popular, which takes out the pleasure of reading and like enjoying something for the first time. So I'm trying to like shake my head out of that and just be like, this is where I'm at. Cannot wait to read these, and for them, like once I discover like the worlds and find it for myself, I'm sure it's gonna be amazing. This is kind of nearing a done point. I want to add some cutie accessories just to kind of like, I'll probably do like a little holder for bookmarks that I've accumulated. I have another jelly cat I want to put up here. Maybe another picture like up on the top, I'm thinking. And yeah, just giving it room, because eventually these will shift over here, and we may have to end up shifting a lot of the bookshelf, because fantasy clearly is going to be the top dog. So romance may move down with my thrillers, or maybe I'll read more thrillers this year. Really, who knows? So these two right here, Serafina, I read probably in high school, so like obviously pre-ACOTAR, pre-Throne of Glass. This is when I was like, okay, dragons are cool. And it almost felt like a guilty pleasure reading those kind of books, because like you're like, am I like weird? And so I read this book, and I just like literally have not thought about it since I read it, which I don't even know how old I was, like 14 maybe. And so I saw it at the reused bookstore, and I was like, oh my gosh, and it was $5, so I bought it. And then I didn't realize that there was a sequel. So I bought the sequel because I may honestly do a little reread and then finally reread the sequel. So very exciting stuff. So that's really, honestly, probably how I got my start. It was really the pipeline from this into all the other magical stuff. Feel free to follow me on Goodreads. Like I said, my sister and I have a fun little book account called Double Booked on Instagram, where we just share what we're reading. I'm going to be on the hunt for copies of books that I have read in the past and loved through Pango Books, and the reused library. So I'm going to go on my Goodreads and look for books that I really love that I read on Kindle, and eventually get those copies because I want them. If that like book was like a 4 or 5 star, you know? Thank you so much for watching this video. I am so glad that I got to spend time with you while I put together my little library. I cannot wait to see how she grows and all that I read. Another YouTube video is coming very soon that I kind of filmed in tandem with this one, but I kind of wanted to give this one its own video. So thank you so much for watching. I am so glad that you are here. I will see you in the next video.